Hello and welcome to another episode of Making Moves. Today, we're diving into the successes that defined Dubai's real estate market in 2024. From record-breaking transactions to the rise of the luxury market, transformative infrastructure projects and population growth, we'll also be uncovering our thoughts on what to expect in Dubai's real estate market for 2025. Now, who better to run through all that with than our longest standing member at Beatty Real Estate, our head of secondary sales, Mr. Bradley Moolman.
Hi, Tariq. Thank you very much. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure to have you and welcome to your very first podcast.
Thank you very much.
So, Brad, 2024 was undoubtedly a record-breaking year for us all in Dubai real estate. Give us some of the highlights that you experienced during that time.
Yes, definitely. 2024 in real estate market Dubai, it was major. It was a massive buzz in the real estate market and definitely record-breaking numbers. We saw a total sales transaction in the Dubai real estate market of around 168,000 sales transactions. Now, that's not only residential, so that's a mix of residential and commercial. So that's the total sales transactions at a value of over 500 billion dirhams.
Fantastic numbers there. So you mentioned not only just residential, it's some commercial as well. I understand that off-plan might have a big factor in that number as well.
Yeah, definitely a big factor. If you just look at the off-plan sector, out of that full transaction amount, the off-plan sector had around 61% of that.
And what are the key drivers that you feel contributed to the market growth for last year?
Yeah, look, there's a lot of key drivers. I mean, investors, Dubai catching the eye of investors. I mean, Dubai is a growing market for investors. There's always new and exciting projects coming up. It's a family-friendly lifestyle is good. I mean, you've got the best of everything in Dubai, best schools, you've got fantastic healthcare, and also talking about golden visas. It's just a sustainable city.
So we know 2024 was a record-breaking year in terms of price for property sale and rental. Now, how does that compare to 2023, and what sort of market trends are in focus?
Yeah, so there's definitely a growth. Compared to 2023, we saw at least a 42% growth in the real estate market, in the transactions. Also, from those transactions, all the transactions, apartments as a total, that's off-plan and ready apartments, took around 70% of the total of all the transactions in Dubai. So that, I would say, for invested purposes, would have been the most in demand on investment. On villa and townhouses, the market actually seen a growth of 18% of that total.
So based on those figures, obviously off-plan has outperformed the secondary market itself. What do you feel is the drive for people investing in off-plan rather than having secondary property?
Yeah, I think it's. I personally believe it's just a long-term affordability. You've got very good payment plans. Obviously, if you get in early on an investment on an off-plan property, you will see a good capital appreciation as well, rather than a ready property that might be a bit slower on appreciation.
Now, what trends did you notice in terms of the various real estate segments, apartments, villas, townhouses, for what's been sold over this last year?
Yeah, look, there's definitely been a growth on across the board on off-plan apartments and villas, townhouses. I personally feel there's been a large wave of apartments and apartment projects across Dubai over 2024. I would say, if I can give from my perspective, if you do want to, in 2025, invest in the properties like apartments, I would say rather look at detailed stuff, invest in apartments that has very unique selling points. That means look for top developers, great locations, good views, water views and so forth. Obviously also larger properties will be more in demand and will be more lucrative.
Indeed, as this will flow into the secondary market eventually. So from what you're saying here, given the fact that there's been so many projects for apartments in particular, very easy for developers to acquire a small parcel of land and build upwards rather than building out, which is probably why we've seen such an interest in apartment projects. When it comes to the availability and resale of these properties, there's a potential that there could be an oversupply in the market for apartments, and this is why you're recommending to look for those with USPs?
Yeah, definitely. They would be on most of the properties, or a lot of these properties will carry over into the secondary market. It will definitely see overflow of apartments in the secondary. Obviously, I personally think a lot of these projects still focus on studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, where a lot of people, small families, might be looking for larger apartments like 3 bedrooms, and there might be a slight shortage on supply on the 3 bedrooms apartment as well. So focusing on that would be a very good thing. And like you said, rather focus on very unique sales points on investing in an apartment.
Indeed. So it's difficult at this moment in time to decipher from all those purchases in off-plan that have happened last year in terms of whether that's going to be an end use or it's going to be an investment purpose. Now, obviously, if it's an investment purpose, it could pose a problem because as soon as that building becomes available, you're going to have an absolute wave of apartments ready to rent. And it's going to be difficult to decipher. Obviously, you can compare to comparables within the area, but when the first property becomes available and you put it up for rent, you're going to try and get as much as you can. And then those other people who are ready to start marketing their property, they're going to try and come in a little bit competitively or around the same price as you. But when you've got 30, 40 apartments in one building readily available, there's a lot of supply there. Is the demand going to meet it? Now, as you've said, to have a USP in a particular apartment for those tenants who want to move in, then really you have to have something special to ensure that A, you can rent it quickly, or B, you can sell it quickly as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, to be competitive in the market, you would want to have the better property. That means your property will be higher in demand than the rest. Obviously, the longer property stays on the market, it's not always a good thing because then the rental prices might go down as well. And like you said, overflow in apartments, ready apartments, it's not always beneficial.
Touching on that point where we're talking about reducing the rent if a property's been on the market for too long, do you find that that's been a big thing over the 2024? Have landlords been a little bit too greedy at times and we've seen properties sit on the market for a while? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think landlords and owners of property sometimes try and push the market up. Obviously, sometimes someone lists a property over the market and then it's just a following thing. Another landlord sees the property on the market and wants to follow that. Okay, I want my property up there as well. At the end of the day, it's on the market for 3, 4, 5 months. It's a lot of time lost. It's a lot of income for the landlord lost. And at that stage, he's going to have to drop the price to get it rented at the end of the day. And he lost out on 4 months. It's better to put it on a good average, a middle average on the market, stay competitive than what's online, and make sure to rent your property at a decent price.
Definitely.
As soon as possible.
This is where it comes in hand as a good agent, that you would have educated those owners of property to try and let them know what is fair market value, just to sort of limit the amount of time that they're online for before they find themselves a tenant or a buyer. So good to mention that. And how do you feel that the actual increment has been for the rental market over the last year in terms of value?
Value definitely increased in the rental market. So it's a very decent increase. But if you look at it's quite a healthy increase as well in the 2024 market. It's not a big gap in regards to the rental agreements or the sales value or the price increases to the rental increases, you understand? So it's a 2%, 4% range.
2 to 4%.
2 to 4% range. So it's not a massive gap. So it's a quite healthy market appreciation.
Okay, so Dubai's luxury market has been a major talking point over the last year as well. We've seen a lot of renovate to flip in terms of whether it's sale or rental happening in this last year. But how does that reflect across the board in terms of the luxury market, especially with all these high net worth individuals moving here now as well?
this amount of high net worth individuals are moving to Dubai, the luxury market is still high in demand. It is still picking up. We are still expecting growth for the luxury market in the future as well. I mean, if you look at the numbers, we had over 340 ultra luxury properties on the value of $10 million.
$10 million, so somewhere around 40 million dirhams.
Somewhere around $40 million dirhams sold in 2024. So the demand for the luxury properties to have 347 ultra luxury properties sold in 2024 just shows you it is quite a high demand for the high net worth individuals.
So across the board, how did property prices change between luxury, mid-tier and affordable prices in Dubai?
All across the board, it had an increase. Okay, so it had an increase in certain areas for mid-tier, affordable, and luxury. It had some cases increases in certain areas for up to 50%.
Wow.
Between 40 and 50%. Obviously, that's not to say every single community has grown up to 40 to 50%, but you have seen areas in Dubai that on the mid-tier, affordable, and the luxury properties that has reached that percentage of growth.
So there is quite the demand for all segments of this real estate market.
Absolutely. There's someone for every property here. It's just if that property will be available. As we mentioned, there's sometimes too high demand and not a lot of supply, and that might be the problem. I mean, developers might focus in the future more for affordable and mid-tier villas and townhouses to prepare projects for that and to increase the volume for those properties.
Yeah. So branded residence was quite a hot topic in terms of off-plan developments last year, which obviously is not really your part of the real estate sector that you deal with, but this will, of course, translate into the secondary market eventually. So do you think the luxury market will continue to grow in 2025, or will there be a shift in sort of property interest?
I believe definitely the luxury market for the demand. I mean, we are expecting around 7,000 high net worth individuals to come to Dubai in 2025. So definitely the luxury market will keep on steadily increasing and steadily showing that demand. Same with the mid-tier and affordable properties as well. The attraction of Dubai, the safety. Basically, it's a safe haven for some people. It's a trustworthy place and it's clean. It's one of the safest cities in the world. So why not want to come to Dubai? So because of these type of things, we will see across the board, we will expect still growth in 2025.
Okay. Now, delving into the demographics of those people moving here, what has been the biggest buyers of property in Dubai over the last year?
So with the investment in Dubai, we see top tier nationalities will be Indian nationalities, British nationalities, and that will be followed by Chinese, the French, and Pakistanis.
So these have been the biggest buyers of 2024 property.
Yeah.
Okay. Were there any noticeable trends in renewals versus new rental contracts?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, the rental market also had a very good year in 2024. I mean, we saw over 500,000 rental transactions happening on a value of 44 billion, give or take, in the rental market. The very unique thing about that is, even though there's so many transactions, 61% of those approximately is rental extensions rather than new rental contracts.
44 billion dirhams.
Yeah.
Okay. So 61% renewal, which indicates to me that people are happy to stay where they are. I guess there has been an increase in the rental market as well. So for a new property, for anyone to move in, again, we've touched on this, but landlords are probably asking a little bit too much, and it's making people not want to move from where they are at the moment, which is probably why we've seen more extensions on renewals, extensions on leasing.
Yeah, definitely. Look, a lot of the people, they want to stay put. They don't want that uncertainty of making a decision of getting a price spike in a rental property. So they rather just extend the property. I mean, if you look at the growing pace from 2023 over 2024, you've actually had an increase of around 10,000 rental extensions from 2023 to 2024, where even though the rental has increased over the years, the rental, you've seen actually a little bit of a dip in new rental contracts from 2023 to 2024. So that means people stay put. They don't want that massive spike in leaving a property, maybe paying a premium for another property to rent.
Okay, so do you still see a strong demand for this year in rental, or is there going to be a shift?
I believe there's still going to be a strong demand in demand in rentals. I mean, if you look at the amount of people coming into Dubai, it's basically in the past year 8% growth. That's around 169,000 people in the last year coming into Dubai. So that means all of those people are going to be looking. Most of those people aren't going to be coming in and buying properties. A lot of those people are going to be first-time renters. So the demand for the properties and demand for renting is still going to be up there.
So do you think the rental market is keeping pace with the growing demand, or are there areas of concern?
Look, obviously, the concern would be hiring the prices and properties staying on the market, but I think the demand will still be there. I mean, you see an 8% increase on people arriving in Dubai from other countries. That's thousands of people per year coming into Dubai. So these people aren't coming in always to be first-time property owners and just buying properties. Most of these people, the thousands of people every year coming into Dubai, first option will be new renters, new tenants. So the first option will be renting a property. So that means with the amount of feet that's coming in, that demand will still be good on the rental market.
Okay. Now, heading into mortgages, obviously, as you said, people aren't going to come here and buy straight away, but those that have those that have moved here and are now looking to potentially buy, how do you feel the demand for mortgages is working out now? I mean, we had a lot of cash buyers before. Has there been a shift in terms of mortgage buyers now?
Yes, definitely. There's much more mortgage buyers over 2024 that came through. At this stage, it could be up to 45% of transactions were mortgage over 2024. That's on ready properties, obviously. The reason for that is a couple of things. Over 2024 interest rate cuts, it makes it more affordable and long term. Also, increasing of the rental prices push more tenants that's renting at high rentals to actually buy their own property and rather get a mortgage, pay off their own property rather than someone else's.
Now, we had news the other day as well about it being a little bit more difficult for those looking to mortgage buy. Can you touch up on that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. So what buyers used to do in regards to their mortgage, obviously, if you buy a property, you have your different fees. You have your 4% DLD fees, your agency commission, which is usually on average the 2%. What buyers used to do, or most buyers try to do, is get those fees as part of their mortgages. At this point, you can't do that anymore. So
this will come into effect on the 1st of February.
1st of February, yeah. So if you already signed your final offer letter or already have your mortgage pre-approval and your set contract done before the end of the month, then obviously yes. But from the 1st of February, you can't work your fees, your extra additional fees, 4% DLD, your commission and so on into your mortgage. So that basically is going to be the buyer's own liability. It's not going to be worked into the mortgage.
So 4% Dubai land department fees in terms of the total purchase value of the property, plus the 2% agency commission as well. Meaning now that these aren't being covered by your mortgage, effectively you're going to have an extra 5 to 6% to add as a deposit when you buy a property. This then means, of course, that people aren't going to be able to buy as much as they initially wanted to, probably going to have to look at finding something a little bit less as a property value.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's going to make a difference in regards to what properties you are looking at, what properties you want to buy. Say, for instance, you were looking at a property of 2 million rather than the 2 million mark with the additional fees you're going to have to put down. You're probably going to have to look at properties more at the 1.7, 1.8 mark. So that is going to affect affordability a little bit, but I don't believe it will affect the demand because of a growing market.
So Dubai's population is growing rapidly. Do you feel that this has impacted the demand more so for villas and townhouses?
Yeah, absolutely. It has impacted, especially for villas and townhouses. Demand are high, supply is low. So there's overflow of apartments. There's new projects, new master developments. That's why earlier when we spoke, I actually mentioned that because the demand is so high, developers is probably going to shortly focus on more affordable or mid-tier townhouse and villa communities. Because it's families coming in and not just investors. I mean,
Yeah, it's not just high net worth
not just
individuals.
high net worth individuals. So not all of them wants to stay in an apartment. I mean, a family of four in a 2-bedroom apartment don't usually work always very well. So affordable would mean get a 3-bedroom townhouse, get a 4-bedroom villa, an affordable basis or mid-tier basis. But at the end of the day, we need more supply of that for people coming in.
Definitely. So give us an example area right now of what would be an affordable townhouse or villa community.
So if you look at upcoming areas, affordable townhouse communities, you're looking at Dubai South, you're looking at Al Fajan. This up and coming communities, it is still affordable, especially for investors as well. These are the areas that investors will be looking at over 2025, because the properties are still quite affordable there, and there is a lot of opportunity for appreciation over the next year or two.
Now, looking ahead for 2025, what is your predictions for the real estate market?
I do believe 2025 we will still across the board see growth. I just don't think it's going to be as fast paced as 2024. It's going to be a bit more sustainable, like I've mentioned. Sustainability will draw more investors to Dubai market as well as sustainable growth. It just means that Dubai has a much more mature market then and a stable stability in the market, which is a good thing, absolutely. But we will still see growth in 2025. There's a lot of fantastic projects coming up. Also, in perspective, if you think about it, comparing Dubai to some other major cities across the world, Dubai still has a massive gap to grow in the real estate market. I mean, if you look at a couple of the properties where the price per square meters, they are way above. You look at number 1 to 3, it will be Monaco, Hong Kong, and London. Will be in the top 5 of those countries, and they all range between 72,000 dirham to 96,000 dirham per square meter.
Wow.
Where Dubai is not
Far
even
less.
close to Dubai is not even close to the top 5. I mean, you think Dubai is quite far away from top 20.
Okay.
They actually range price per square meters around 24,000 dirham
As an
instead
average.
of on average, as an average, instead of over 70,000 dirham per square meter. So,
Which is quite surprising given how popular a tourist destination Dubai is, as well as those looking to move here. It's a global business hub. It's surprising. There is plenty of room to grow.
definitely plenty of room to grow, especially if you compare Dubai. The last time I checked, it was ranked at number 50 to 56, Dubai, where these cities are in the top 5, which is very much expensive. And basically, that's not everywhere. That is basically the average of buying an apartment in city center in a hotspot prime area. So, yeah.
So moving on to transformative infrastructure projects that Dubai has announced, which of these do you feel is going to have the biggest impacts on the real estate market going forward in Dubai?
Yeah, so Dubai focuses a lot on connectivity, quality of life, and especially a lot of houses in the past rainstorm that Dubai had, the damages that Dubai had, they are focusing a lot on the new drainage systems as well, the sewage systems. That system alone has had an investment of about 80 billion dirham to get that sorted, which is going to be a major project.
Definitely. I mean, to put that amount of money into it and rectify a problem that's obviously hit global news, undoubtedly that is going to be a positive impact for the real estate market because it's going to give investors confidence again into investing into those properties. You know, Dubai has never really been a rainy city.
Yeah, absolutely not.
So it was difficult to prepare for such a storm that we experienced. But it's good to see that, you know, the recoveries were fairly swift. And obviously the initiative to rectify these issues is something that they're looking at seriously. Now, to put that amount of money into it and improve the drainage system, it's not only going to impact the new communities, of course, but they're also going to be working on all the older communities, which those that were severely affected will undoubtedly, as I said, build investor confidence again.
Yeah, absolutely. It just shows you that the type of place Dubai is. You know, they see a problem, they don't just sit back and don't handle it at all. Obviously, Dubai has a great reputation for the city, and they want to keep that reputation. So if they see something that really had a massive impact on quality of life and the people that's living in Dubai, they are going to go out there, they are going to spend the money, and they are going to improve it. But it just shows you the
level of
commitment Dubai has.
Yeah. And then with regards to connectivity, Dubai wants to be what I would call a 15-minute city. So there's going to be vast improvements in terms of the metro line.
Yeah, definitely, especially the new blue line, the metro. It's definitely a fantastic thing. You think about the Etihad line as well to Abu Dhabi. I mean, you're going to be able to go to Abu Dhabi on the Etihad railway 30 minutes. So, which is connectivity. It's fantastic. They think of all these kind of things, and that's hand to hand with people that wants to go here because the connectivity is so good.
So good news for traffic management and commuting. Now, with regards to the blue line that you've mentioned, there's also the new yellow line coming up as well. The metro system just used to work along the Sheikh Zayed Road, but now we're going to be seeing areas, particularly busy areas like JVC, seeing the metro, Damac Hills, the Villa Community, Silicon Oasis. So all these areas which have been outside the sort of main row of Dubai, now getting to see improvements in terms of infrastructure, traffic management, commuting. It's undoubtedly going to drive further interest, and of course raise property prices with that ease of moving about
of the
as well.
connectivity of. At the end of the day, in the future plans, we'll get to that. But at the end of the day, Dubai wants all residents in Dubai, all communities, to be at least within 800 meters of a station or from public transport, which is fantastic.
Great. So we'll see some sustainable growth for 2025, a bit more of a healthier approach. Now, when we look further on than 2025, Dubai's got the vision of 2033 and 2040 as well. What does this mean for the real estate market?
Yeah, look, Dubai is a place a city that really looks to the future. So they have lots of plans in the future over the next 20 years. So obviously they are looking to increase the population up to around 7.8 million, the population of Dubai.
By when?
By 2040.
Okay.
Yeah.
7.8 million. And right now we're sitting around 3.8.
3.8. Yeah. So it's a major amount of population increase they want to do, but that's why they have all these plans and all these projects in line so that we can, or Dubai can take all of those.
What kind of projects are we going to be expecting?
So they are thinking about doubling public beaches or tripling public beaches, doubling green spaces over Dubai. Also, all the new blue metro lines, they want all, like I mentioned, all residents to be at least within 800 meters of a station of public transport. So these are the type of things we are looking at in 2024, just increasing quality of life, building bigger, go bigger with beaches, greenery, communities,
sustainability. Connectivity. Okay. And now a little bit of a fun topic following on from that. 2026, I believe, we will start seeing some flying taxis.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. So that's what they say. 2026, we'll see the flying taxis in Dubai.
So tell us a little bit more about that. I mean, it gives me vibes of the movie Fifth Element and Total Recall. I've never expected in my life that we'd be seeing flying taxis. But it's exciting to see that Dubai is going to be the very first city where that is a mode of public transport. What are the plans that we know of so far?
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite an interesting topic. Definitely looking forward to seeing that. I never think we would have lived in a world that will see flying taxis in the city. So as you mentioned, Dubai will be then the first city in the world that has flying taxis as an intercity transport method. So which is very, very good. So the plan with that is obviously they're going to have ports for takeoff on these flying taxis. They call it vertiports.
Okay.
The first one they are looking at will be on Dubai International Airport, and they're taking off from there. So they are possibly looking at the four destinations at first. That will be Dubai International Airport, Palm Jumeirah, downtown, and then Dubai Marina.
Okay.
So it's quite an interesting fact. It's if you are a person with a big time saver, time is money type of thing, you know what I'm saying? It's a good thing. Because if you think about distance from Palm Jumeirah to Dubai International Airport, which usually 40 to 45 minutes, you'll be able to do that in 10 minutes.
Wow.
So
That is a massive time saver.
It is a massive time saver.
Yeah.
But
I'll be honest with you, I don't think it's something that I would really want to explore initially.
I won't be the first one testing it out officially, but it will be very interesting in seeing.
Yeah, exciting times ahead.
Exciting times ahead. Lots of things in the pipeline.
So certainly, it's good to see that we've seen some remarkable growth in 2024. And as you said, we're expecting a healthy increase for this year. Lots to come in Dubai over the next few years, certainly, with the improvements to connectivity. So it's certainly going to be an interesting period. And I want to thank you very much for your time to come on the podcast today and give us your insights.
Thank you very much, Tariq. It was great to be here and have a conversation about this. I'm personally very excited about the next year and what lies ahead for Dubai real estate. I think the buzz for Dubai real estate will always be there. There's going to be a buzz next year in the different sectors and so on, and I'm personally very excited for that.
Thank you very much for your time today, Brad.
Thank you very much, Tariq.
To all our viewers, thank you very much for joining in to this episode. Look forward to seeing you on the next one.